All right, I'm back, Dave.
Now tuned in to the Drawing Board Podcast, a powerful, thought-provoking discussion where we talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. Let's see what exciting guests we have on our show today.
Welcome to the Drawing Board Podcast. This is your founder and host, Andre Ebron. And can you believe it? We are nearing the middle of July. I know we just passed the 4th of July. We just passed, 15 days after Juneteenth, however you want to frame it. But we are headed towards the middle of July. I want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Ebron and Associates, a consulting firm that consults, develops, and supports personal, professional, and organizational transformation. I also want to give a shout out to the Viger Group, who is responsible for a lot of the collateral, the t-shirts that you've seen. They are responsible for printing that, helping to organize some of the messaging that you see, and just overall supporting our organization. We want to say thank you to them. Now today it's Blackout Tuesday. So I hope that you have been allocating your funds responsibly. If you have chosen to not spend any money at all, or if you have chosen to spend some finance or to buy, I hope that you have been investing your dollars into Black businesses. I don't have to go into all of the technical piece about how long a dollar stays in the Black community, but you know that it is vitally important that you continue to buy from Black businesses. Now, today I have on the show a good brother who is out there doing the work. I love connecting with community leaders that are doing the work. So welcome to the Drawing Board Podcast, Drawing Board Nation. Let's welcome to the show, Brother Quan Nellums. Welcome to the show, brother.
What up, though? How's it going, man? Ebron, thank you for the invite.
Oh, man, absolutely. I see that, man, you're in between different events. You just told me you were at one event, jumped in the car. You just finished delivering some supplies to another one of the org you're involved in, some of the members there. And so, man, you're a man on the move. Let's break it down by definition and substance for to know who is Brother Quan Nellums.
All right, man. My name is Quan Nellums, born and raised in the city of Detroit. Detroit, in turn, raised me. Graduate of Mumford High School, class of '98, Wayne State University. I'm an educator within the Detroit Public Schools Community District. This is my 17th year, in the game. So, man, just somebody who looking to use my gifts, my talents, my resources to make a difference in my city, to be a part of the community and building community in my city as well, man. So that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell. I'm a proud husband, father of two sons. One is 9, one is 11, about to be 12 in a month. So, we residents in the city of Detroit as well. So just living and giving of myself to the people that I love, man.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Now, I have a question, particularly for Black male educators. Why did you choose education? Why was it important for you to choose education as your profession?
Man, I'm telling you, that's a long story, but man, I'll give you the nutshell. I actually was in school for material science engineering. I volunteered in Brightmoor for a number of years at a local school, Peter Vital School. What I saw at that school was, man, it was very moving. The local church there, Rosedale Park Baptist Church, they adopted this school, and their relationship with this school was so intense that the youth pastor of the school would be, when the principal was absent, would be the acting principal. And a lot of the students from that school. So although it's called Rosedale Park Baptist Church, it was in Brightmoor and it was adjacent to the Smith Housing Project. So a lot of the students who went to Vital came from the Smith Housing Project. And the goal of this youth pastor was to adopt this school and provide it with all the necessary resources that it needed. And it was strategically positioned because the school, as I volunteered with this church, they placed me at this school. And so I was at school during the day at that school as an 18-year-old. And they allowed me to be like a behavior interventionist. This was in 99, man. They were before their time. They were, they were trying to do this whole restorative practices back in 99, where instead of suspending a young man, they would send them to me. We would have a conversation. That in turn turned into me hosting a mentorship program after school for the middle school boys. But the caveat is that it didn't stop at school, because I had an office at the church as well. And I would see the kids in the neighborhood. So when I would leave school and go to my office, the students would be there. During the summertime, we provided programming, and I saw the students like at school. I saw them in the neighborhood. I got to meet their parents. And when you talk about the impact that community involvement in schools have, I saw it firsthand. I've been trying to mimic that blueprint ever since I've been a teacher. And so, the youth pastor of the church came at me and was like, "You ever thought about being a teacher?" And I was like, "I never thought about it, but with this experience, I think I want to be one." And so, man, I switched my major I switched it quick. I went into the college education. I did my student teaching at Peter Vital School. My mentor teacher was his name was Carl Brownlee. He's still in the district as well. He started off as my mentor teacher. He's my good friend now. I learned so much from this guy as a volunteer first. I would volunteer in his class. He opened his classroom up to me like, "Hey, man, you can use this class for your program after school." I used his students, So I connected with him as a volunteer. And then when I became a student teacher, I got a chance to learn the craft from him. And when I became like a new teacher, I would always go back to him. We would have discussions, times where I wanted to quit, he encouraged me, and so I just had an all around good experience with this one school, man. And it just changed the whole trajectory of my life. And so just what I learned with my time as being a volunteer at that school, it changed my trajectory and what I wanted to do in life. And it also influenced the way I wanted to attack being a teacher. And so just all the things as far as community involvement outside of the school, after school programming, things like that, being closely involved with families. Those are things I carry with me and implemented wherever I was as a teacher.
Now, throughout the whole story, you know what I'm thinking and listening to? Because that approach, that rap approach about making sure that you are involved in their community lives, their home lives, that you end up being a consistent support wherever they are. Each environment, you get a chance to influence that by, exuding the love and providing the tangible resources, right, that's needed. But the whole time I was listening to you, I was thinking to myself, do you think that you were always called to serve? Because I'm wondering, you in 99, as an 18-year-old young man, I was trying to figure out, why is this 18-year-old young man dedicating his time and service to volunteer at a school? Like, you got to break that down for me, brother.
Yeah, man. So when I say the city raised me, man, I benefited from caring adults, and I always get emotional talking about this, man. As a 15-year-old, I was a part of a program called Project Adapt. Now, you may know, I don't want to give away his age. He probably doesn't care, but my mentor when I was in Project Adapt was a man by the name of Otis Bellinger.
Yeah, Brother Bellinger. Yeah,
that's
I know
right.
Brother.
So when I was 15, he was a young man as a mentor as well. But this program was ran by adults. Miss Rush, Mama Rush, she's passed away now. She's an ancestor. But, man, let me tell you, this program changed my life. I mean, and I would go so far as to say it saved my life. We met 3 times a week at the Northwest Activity Center. And this was a combination of kids from the West Side and kids from the East Side. And we met at the Northwest Activity Center. And Miss Rush, her and the faculty that was involved, their whole duty was, they said, we want to change your mind. And the way she said it, we want to move you from being ghetto to being global. And they spent we met 3 times a week, and they spent their time constructing things for us that really just moved us into a global mindset. So we went out of town all the time. With this group, I visited every state on the eastern seaboard. I visited all the states down south, Midwest. The plan was to take us to Africa. We didn't realize that plan, but we did do a lot of traveling. They paid us to travel. They gave us $120 to travel, and we would go to college tours. We go to all the black colleges. Every time we went to a different city, we found a black bookstore, and they said, "Listen, with that money that we gave you, we want you to buy one book." And that's how, and I do that now with my own kids. We collect books, and we read them. That's when I started. They took us to places that we didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to dinner theater as a 15-year-old, but they took us, right. and it was cool because it opened us up. Like, I can have a conversation about this stuff. They were very intentional. They introduced us to classical music. They introduced us to black classical performers and pianists and stuff like that. Every year they took us to Black Man Think Tank in Cincinnati. By the time I was 16 years old, I had heard all the heavy hitters: Naeem Akbar, Michael Dyson, Milana Karinga, Johnny Ray Youngblood. I mean, the list goes on and on. We would be set at these conferences and heard these things, man. When we would go to meet on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at Nose Activity Center, they introduced us to people from our community. They came with messages about how to be better young men and women, whether it was making goals for ourselves, whether it was eating properly, meditation, things like that, man. And what I saw, man, what all of us saw, we knew that these people loved us, man, because they really gave of themselves, man. I mean, for anybody to sacrifice three days out of their time and to really go and search for that money to do this for a young kid, and it wasn't a small amount of young people. It was about 100, 120 of us, And so for them to do that and they were consistent and they were loving and they saved our lives, man. And I knew when I was going through that, I was like, I can't, they taught us that, altruism, that, you getting all this is not for you to blow it. You got to pass this along. And so, I always vowed, and all my friends that was in it, it saved our life. We all followed a similar trajectory. Like, whatever we're doing in life, serving the next generation has to be a part of our lifestyle, and that's what it is. It's just like going to work out every day, being serving young people, serving your community is lifestyle for us, because this is what was poured into us and what saved our lives. So we know it works, and so by the time I turned 18, that was just a part of my life. I knew that I had to, it was no doubt, no question that I would be volunteering somewhere. I would be serving somebody. I would, whatever I was doing. And so that's where it came from, man. It's all props to the elders that poured into us. And so I got much love for Project Adapt, Ms. Rush, all the people that was involved with that. Mr. Bellinger, when I see him now, we have a special bond because, he was a young man at that point. Right. Oldest had to be in his mid to late 20s. Yeah, I'm sorry. We got kind of Otis had to be in his mid to late 20s when he was doing that. So I wait, hold on one second. Yeah, so I definitely knew that because of the examples that I had that I would be doing the same thing.
Well, yeah, man, that evidence, that principle, to whom much is given,
That's
much
right,
shall
man.
be required. And
That's
what's
right.
amazing is somebody that's listening that has a mentoring program or is thinking about investing in the youth, you are proof positive that none of those seeds are wasted, right?
Not at all.
And that exposing youth to opportunities and encouraging their growth, their potential, and being patient with them and loving with them. And the most important thing you start off with is that you had the support of caring adults. And like that, it changes the game for every young person, because I don't care how tough you are or how tough your circumstance is, love has a way of cutting through all of that and getting to the real seed of who you can become.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me, brother. I know you are the founder of you got so many irons in the fire, but you are the founder of the Lyricist Society that engage directly with young adolescent male youth. Talk to me about that, brother. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Do you have a couple bars on hand?
No, hey man, no, man.
Hold on. Wait.
Hey,
Hold on. Go ahead. Hey, go ahead, man. Give me a quick 8.
Nah, man, maybe later, man. Maybe later, but Lyricist Society, man. It's a program. I mean, we are 10 years strong. This past January, we celebrated our 10th year doing Lyricist Society, and really, man, it just comes from thank you, man. It just comes from it wasn't like as a teacher. By that point, I was teaching at Frederick Douglass Academy for Young Men. And, I noticed that, the young men, we had at that point, we had a band there, but you had some young men who were talented, but they were talented in non-traditional musical art forms in school. And by saying that, they were interested in rapping and hip hop and stuff. And so I had a background in hip hop, and I feel that growing up in Detroit, I'm sorry, Andre, you from Detroit?
No, man, I'm from Cali, raised in Indiana. But listen, I'm hip hop to my heart, though.
Okay, but listen, growing up in Detroit, I came of age in Detroit in the 90s, man. So from, my high school years, 94 to 98, man, there literally needs to be some studying, some studies done, some books written about that time period, because the artistic culture in Detroit was astounding to grow up in, man. I mean, we had the hip hop shop on 7 Mile, where, this is where D12, Proof, Eminem, this was their stomping ground. This is before they got famous, and they would be there rapping. As a 15-year-old, I'm going up there on Saturdays, hearing, Jay Dilla, being able to hear his music before he goes with the Tribe Called Quest and stuff like that, seeing Elzar from Slum Village, seeing D12 and Eminem and all that, rapping, and all the other local artists rapping and stuff. And then to be able to go to Cafe Mahogany. Cafe Mahogany was the poetry spot here in Detroit. Fluent and Kari Kamani Turner and all these guys. And then seeing going down to the what was called the Shelter, St. Andrews Hall. Down during that time in the 90s, it was a straight hardcore hip hop club. I mean, people from the Fugees, the Wu-Tang, all the underground artists would come there before they made it big and stuff. So, man, culture, and you will always see, whether you were at the neighborhood community center or whether you was at a school, you would see kids at the table, banging on the table in a cipher, you know what I'm saying? And that cipher life was exhilarating, man. And we can talk about that later, how bringing the elements to the cipher to the classroom, how important that is. But just being involved in those ciphers, being involved in the Detroit culture at that time, I became involved in hip hop. I was writing rhymes, and I believe that hip hop made me a more expressive, because I'm normally a shy person, but at that time it made me more expressive. It increased my vocabulary. It made me more confident. It even gave a rhythm to my writing that made it better, writing essays and things like that. And so, my background was in hip hop, just as far as, and I knew how cool it can be used in school and how life-changing and academic it could be in school as well. And so while I was, working at Douglass, I was like, look, let's see what this hip hop does. And so I just said, look, 2 rules: no profanity, and you got to talk about something. And so the first song that was ever recorded was a song about Black history. Man, they killed it. The kids were going around the school listening to it. They're like, oh, they was quoting it. And I was like, man, there's something to this, because if these young people can influence their own peer group and they're talking about something positive, and they talking about something, I was like, this is cool. So we've been recording ever since. And so the beautiful thing is that the kids are able to, you know, they create music videos. Like I said, they won an Emmy for music video creation. They were the only Detroit public school, and they won against some of their affluent, you know, some of the more affluent school districts in the suburbs. But their content, their artistry, the song that they made that they got an Emmy for the music video was a song called Peace. And this was in 2015. So they were talking about police brutality. Now this was back in 2015, right. 2016. And I recently just looked at it and I thought about like, man, this was deeper than what I thought, because they recorded the video using cell phones. And so, you know, we know that a lot of this, like with the past, like with George Floyd, you know, being on cell phone, a lot of the police brutality being caught on cell phones. They used cell phones. They staged like a protest. They got permission from the principal, and they staged like a protest at the school. I mean, it was like a dope, very dope concept. And to be able to see those kids go up, and they were in front of the news. They were at Detroit Public Television. Lots of people there. They got a chance to dress up, and they really got a chance to like, yo, you know, thank you, you know, to show that, you know, they put some thought into what they did. And, you know, to be able to have kids to be proud of something that they're doing, first of all, it's something that they are involved in on a daily basis. To see that there is a brilliance behind something that they're interested in on a daily basis. So to see the things they're interested in deemed as brilliant,
right?
It makes them feel like they're brilliant as well. You know what I'm saying? And so at that point, like I say, I was sold. I was like, all right, every year, if I got kids who are interested in making music, we're gonna do it. And so it just started off as a little after-school club, and it just grew from that, man. I mean, it had gotten, you know, local attention, statewide attention, national attention. There's been scholarly journals written about them. There's been interviews with them, and so it's all for them. Like they did a song about the 1967 rebellion, and NPR, NPR wanted to come and interview them, and so we were all there. I was there too. We were all getting interviewed, and they cut my part off and just had the kids, and that's what it's all about to me. Like, look, the kids are able to handle it. They can hold it down. They did their research to write their lyrics and things like that. So, I mean, again, it wasn't any form or fashion. It was just that, hey, I do hip hop. I can show you guys a little something. Let's see what you got. And it just went from there, man. It wasn't, you know, I didn't sit down and create this huge, outstanding curriculum. It was just, this is a passion that I have, something that I believe helped me out as a young person. And let's see what it can do with the next generation. And it worked very well, man. So we're still going strong. So now I was solely at Douglas, but now we are at about 4 different schools right now.
Oh, that's amazing. So now I have to issue the challenge. I have to issue the challenge. Top 5. Go ahead. Top 5.
Top 5, man.
Top 5.
Man. Okay, so my top 5 is a little esoteric, man. So I'm gonna put Killer Priest out there.
Okay.
Killer Priest, he's probably been true to who he is. He's been in it from the 90s on until now, man. He just dropped another album, Rockets to Nebula. I mean, it's just so different than anything you ever heard. It's almost like a spoken word album, but it's dope, you know. And so I got to put Killer Priest on that list. And this is no particular order. I'll put Killer Priest on the list. I'll put Nas on the list as well.
I heard hesitation. Why the hesitation, brother?
Well, I know there's no hesitation. Maybe what you're hearing is that I got some conversations echoing in my ear over, I had this conversation with some of my boys and stuff. And so, one of my boys is a huge Jay-Z fan, but I'll put Nas on the list. There's a guy from New York by the name of Corey Red. I'll put him on the list. Same way, he's been rocking it since I saw him live, like in the 90s. And he's been still rocking it ever since then. And, but the content, he talks about pretty much what he lives, man, and it's not, his beliefs and all that stuff like that. You know, I appreciate that you're able to be transparent on your rhymes, and they're sweet. So we got Killer Priest, we got Nas, we got Corey Red. I'll put Lauren on the list, man. The reason why I put Lauren, because a lot of people don't put women on the list when it comes to it, but I'll put Lauren on there because although I think a lot of things may have been cut short with her because we didn't see the follow-up album and things like that
Right.
the way we wanted to see it, but I think she just went another way and she stayed true to what she was doing. But still, you can't negate her skills on both fronts, on the rhyming and on the R&B side as well. We got
Right.
4. We got Lauryn Hill in the 5th one. I just go ahead and throw Kendrick on there, man.
Okay. Why Kendrick though? Why Kendrick?
I think Kendrick is I think he's carrying the torch, man. He has the skills, he has the content, and I think he can go, I mean, literally, he can go with any rapper, old or new. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important, you know. And then the fact that he won, I mean, he was validated before he won the Pulitzer to me, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he was able to get a Pulitzer just for the rhymes that he writes and stuff like that. But again, the fact that he's a bridge, man, that he can go, you can take him back, he can go toe to toe with any of the Nas, Jay-Z, and he can go toe to toe with the newer guys too. So you put him on there with Drake, with me, any of them, he comfortable on any, you know, in any era, I believe. So I got to put him on that list as well.
Yeah.
Who your top 5, man? Who your top 5?
Oh man, listen. So, I have to say Nas, definitely. Nas is like, I think, my favorite MC, like hands down.
Okay.
I like his, what I like most about him is just how learned, right? So if you study and know a lot about him and his upbringing, and I know I've been watching his interview and his tour with Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, just how Dyson breaks down his whole flow. But it is the flow, it is the delivery of the content to me that makes him like astounding in the way that he delivers his rhymes. I have to say, let's see, number 2, I'll probably have to give it to, hey man, I like Busta Rhymes. Yeah. Busta. Because Busta brings this whole energy of following kind of his evolution, right? You know, when you see him with Tribe, when you see him go solo, like I see him grow as an artist in a way. The thing I love about it is just as he grew as a man, his delivery, his style grew. You know what I mean? And that's what I really like his vibe. I like his flow and just the energy, his delivery. He makes you shake your head like this with every little inflection of his voice. So as you can tell from me, like flow is extremely important, right? And maybe flow for me is important because I was a percussionist, right? So when I'm listening to, you know, nothing to me is nothing harder than a 4/4, right? So you put a hard 4/4 on, and somebody can just go to a hard 4/4. Oh, it's over, you know. Let's see. 3, I will have to give it to. I'm gonna go with you on Lauren. Lauryn Hill to me was and is. She just organically, she has this raw potential that comes across in her lyrics. And it's one of those things where you can't help but feel what she's talking about. You know what I mean? So like Nas paints the picture for me. It's almost like we're walking down the street and he's painting this narrative, right? Busta makes me just, you know, rock out to, you know, just go in. And Lauren, she makes you feel something like she's having a conversation with you, like a download of that wisdom, whether it's her articulating her pain or whether she's articulating the need for uplift. Like Lauren is that deal. Let me see. I'm on 4 now, right? 4. I gotta go with Jay. I gotta go with Jay. Yeah. I gotta go with Jay just because I've also followed him from Reasonable Doubt and his faster flows to like how he found his own groove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
ends up, he's very conversational, right? And I'm not even talking about the like the style and method where he talks about he doesn't write, but really just literally how he is now leveraging rap to be able to talk about real things
Yeah.
like OJ. That song right there, that song, yeah, like talking about OJ, some of the things and his music grow. And lastly, if I had to choose one, I'm struggling between Pac and Biggie right now. Between Pac and Biggie.
Wow.
Yeah, had his life not been cut
Well,
short.
I kind of lost you for a minute, man. What'd you say about Pac and Biggie?
Oh no, I said I kind of wonder. I wonder where his music would have gone had his life not been cut short.
Pac or Biggie?
Yeah, Pop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
I think so younger me, I would have said Biggie.
Okay.
As a teenager, Biggie, because it was all about lyrics, and of course, Biggie was more lyrical than Pac. But as I got older, listening to what Pac was saying, I'm like, man, a lot of this is coming to pass. It's making sense. You know what I'm saying? But like younger me would have been like Biggie because it's just, it was just, Biggie just had the flow. Pac
Right.
was more. You got to sit down and listen to him, and that's why Pac. People study Pac lyrics. I mean, I think the song "Dear Mama." I mean, I think that's just like, if anything, as far as being like a perfect song. I think that, yeah, I mean, Dear Mama it tugs at your heart. He's flowing. He's bringing up some good points. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can still bang that today. You know what I'm saying? So,
it's timeless.
Keep your head up. Like, those are the type of things that those have lasted. Like my kids are, you'll play that, Dad. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear that, it's like that. It stays the course of time. And so those are some things that I would give it to Pac over Biggie because of that. Pac had that. He had the longevity, and I think that it's adequate what you said about Pac to be placed on Biggie. Like what type of consciousness would Biggie had if his life would have been extended? What shifts and turns? Would it have been like a Jay-Z type of trajectory, or would it have been something else?
Yeah, absolutely. And so now, man, that leads me to when we talk about longevity, when we talk about legacy, when we talk about making sustainable change within the community, brother, you are doing something that I find grossly important. And I rally and call for all of the troops to join you. But you are in turn now recruiting and advocating for more African American men to join the profession of education. Talk to me about your work with I'm in Demand or In Demand.
All right. Yeah, I am in demand. In demand. So let me tell you how it started, man. I was doing a presentation at a conference, and the title of the presentation was "Engaging Black Men Across School and Community." Right.
Okay.
And as I was talking, we had a discussion. It was a good presentation. Somebody from the audience slipped their hand up in the air and they say, "Hey, that's all well and good, but we're all the black men," and she went on to say that, "Hey, I work in the schools and I run the male mentoring program." That's right. I'm a female and I run the male mentoring program, not because I want to, but because I have to. She was like, she told her story about how she went out. She sent the kids, the kids came to her, was like, "Hey, we need a male mentoring program." And she told them to talk to the male teachers to see who would do it. And, it's like, they all said no. So who said no? They all said no, right? And so as I was sitting there, I was like, wow, that hasn't been my experience. At Douglas, I was like, man, we were able to get men to come in and, men volunteering and, male teachers volunteering and stuff like that. And so I said, you know what? We need a database of men. I thought it was two-pronged problem. The first problem is that do men know that they're needed, first of all, and then secondly, is there just a database where it's like, hey, next time I wanted to be prepared. Next time somebody say, hey, who are the black men? I'm like, oh, here's a database of black men who are willing to be involved in education, whether as mentors, volunteers, or educators. And I'll tell you why the educator part came a part of it too, because originally it was just for mentors and volunteers. But as I look at the state of education, we know that Black men are like 2% of the population, so teaching population. So our voice, our perspective is needed, but it's not there, right? And so my goal was like, listen, if we can't get educators involved, if we can't get Black men to be educators, that's a huge ask to be like, hey, you have thought about being an educator, right? Or you want to switch your career to being an educator. And so my goal is to say, you know what? We need Black men, period, like as mentors, as volunteers, and as educators. So the way that In Demand, the way that we go about trying to do that is that, first of all, we have those conversations with young people, teenagers, while they're still in high school. We had that conversation with students that are in college as well, saying that, hey, you ever thought about being an educator? But for those who maybe not think about education, the other side of it is that our kids, they need us as Black men to be involved. I mean, Frederick Douglass said that it's easier to build strong men than it is it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And so that means that like our work is at school. I mean, our kids spend the majority of the time at school. And so that's where the work is to be done, whether it's during the school day, whether it's an after school program, whatever. And so my goal, like I said, what I follow for my life is that serving the youth is a part of my lifestyle. And so I believe that needs to be something that's a part of every Black man's lifestyle, that they, every day they wake up, they having something on their mind. It's something they're doing to serve young people. And so I feel that being involved in the school system is a wonderful way to do that. So we try to link Black men who are interested, whether they want to be mentors or volunteers. We try to link them up with organizations that are doing the work and that need volunteers, link them up with schools that need it as well. And then also for those who want to be educators, like, I've come across a number of young people who are young Black male students who are interested in being educators. And so being able to provide them with, the connections to become educators. I'm a fellow of Teach 313, and where they recruit people to come to Detroit to teach. And so I connect with Teach 313, where we funnel young people. This school year we were the goal was to get young people to work as teacher apprentices, and so they gave a number of those slots to young Black men who are interested in becoming teachers. And so just being able to recruit them early, but also looking at it as an option, because I believe as more and more Black men at least start volunteering with young people, that may be one of the ways that we can hook, like how I was hooked to become educators. Be like, look, you're doing the volunteer work. Have you ever, if we had a clear path for you to become an educator, would you be willing to do it? And so I've seen that with a number of men who decided to switch careers, or while they're in their current career, they're going and taking classes to become educators as well. So, In Demand, we started as a way to kind of help fill in that gap of Black men being mentors, volunteers, and educators in the city of Detroit. And so, that's our goal, is to continue that effort to recruit Black men, to let Black men know that they're needed, the lives of our young people and to provide them with those connections to become teachers, mentors, and volunteers in the city.
Oh, that's excellent, brother. Now talk to me. Tell me about your event that you have coming up this Saturday.
So this Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. at Durfee Innovation Society. That's on 2470 Collingwood Street. We're going to have an outdoor event. Social distancing is going to be required and masks going to be required. But what we're simply going to have is just a call to action. You know, we want to get Black men to come out. Those who can't come out, we definitely going to have it live stream. But we have a number of schools, organizations, programs that are asking for Black men to be involved as mentor and volunteers. Some are even looking to hire as employees as well. School districts that are looking for Black male teachers as well. You know, we have those different programs. We got about 20 so far that are already committed to come. And they're going to speak for 2 minutes about what their needs are and what the opportunities to volunteer, mentor, and to be employed with the programs. And Black men are going to have that opportunity right then and there to sign up. And so, you know, we want to increase that database, but definitely put that right in front, put Black men right in front of the people in the organizations that need them and being able to have that connection. So that'll be this Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. at the Durfee Innovation Society. If anybody that's listening that's interested, or you know somebody that will be interested, they can register. They can get more information at IamInDemand.com. Oh,
good. So now you know you're definitely not going to be able to get off here without kicking a poem, spitting a few. So
okay.
Look, I always know generally, especially with people who practice the lyrical art expression, whether it be spoken word or what have you, they always have at least, like, if it's not a poem, it's an affirmation. They have that one go-to, all right? They have the one go-to, all right?
Yeah. All right. Now, I got you, man. So, you know, my memory ain't like how it used to be, man. So, you know, this old man trying to remember rhymes, man. So I can kick a little something, though, man. You ready for it now, or you want to wait?
Oh, no, we're going to hold on to it. We'll hold on to it, all right? We'll hold on to it. So in the work that you're doing now, man, I know you were just telling me you were out gift cards for another organization that you're a part of, and it's Black Leaders.
Yeah, Black Leaders Detroit.
Black Leaders Detroit. Talk to me about that.
So Black Leaders Detroit, it is a program where it's for us by us, man. We believe that the community can pretty much save and restore our own community, you know. So what we do, we ask for people to donate $1 a week to a community fund, right? So the goal is to get 1 million people to donate $1 a week. And so with those funds, we use those funds to fund Black-owned businesses, nonprofits who are doing the work similar to the work that's being done that like what In Demand does, or mentoring programs, or programs that benefit the community. And so Black businesses, nonprofit, we'd be able to have a community stash to uplift and to assist in funding the organizations, the businesses in our own community. And so you can go on to blackleadersdetroit.org. And you can see just how much money we've raised so far. And then you can also, if you follow us on social media, you can see how we've been able to pay out this money to these different Black-owned businesses. As you know, when COVID hit, a lot of our businesses suffered, man. And so we started a Restorative Village Fund. And so we were able to actually give funds to businesses that may have been Black-owned businesses that may have been suffering during this time period. And so today, we had an initiative called Riot, which is reinvesting in our talent, right? And so we feel that, you know, as we have uprisings and racial unrest, in the city, across the nation, that, you know, there's various ways that we can attack racial injustice. And our form of attacking it is reinvesting in our talent, which is our Black businesses. And so what we did, we came to the historic Avenue of Fashion on Livernois, and we went to each of the Black-owned businesses, and we bought up a bunch of gift cards. 20 to 30 gift cards from each of the different Black-owned businesses. And we set up shop, and as people was walking past, we gave them out to them, so that they would in turn go and use those cards to at these Black businesses and everything. And so it was a wonderful day, man. So much love and support. If you're listening to this and you feel like, hey, you got $1 a week to spare, that's $1 a week or $52 a year. And you can see in real time, there's accountability right online. When you go online, you can see how much is being given. You can see who, how much is being donated to Black Leaders Detroit, and you can see how we're using those funds to improve our Black businesses, to improve the equity in our Black businesses as well. And so that's the crust of what Black Leaders Detroit is.
And that's excellent, man. So you essentially, if 1 million people gave into that, you all would have a budget of $52 million
Right.
to be able to distribute among Black businesses. Now
Yep.
we have to think about the impact of that and really take it in full scale about, how to change. So listen, you can count me in, brother. I'll figure out a way. Tell me how to donate. Or,
just go to blackleadersdetroit.org, and you can hit that donate button, and you can see how you want. Do you want to do $1 a week, or do you want to just get a whole 52? You have those options. So just that simple. Blackleadersdetroit.org, and we wanted to do $1 a week because we want people to know that you may hear about people doing certain things like for instance, Robert Smith, who was to pay off the tuition of, was it 2019 graduates of Morehouse?
Of Morehouse, yeah.
Yeah. And people look at it like, man, wow, look at what he did. But that's something that we all can do. We want everybody in the community to be involved with Black Leaders Detroit. But that's the same thing with In Demand, that every Black man can be involved some type of way with the betterment, with making the next generation better. So if you can't, my work schedule is to the point where I can't be a mentor full time. Well, you can volunteer. We need some paint being done. We need some paint donated or whatever, right? It's like everybody can put a piece in. It reminds me in the Bible, the book of Nehemiah, when they were rebuilding the wall.
Absolutely.
And everybody had a part to play, whether you was a baker, whether you were somebody who made cologne, whether a blacksmith. Everybody played a part in building that wall. So, and we feel the same way with our community, that everybody can put a hand in, so that those dollars go a long way, and it's something to be proud of, that everybody, a multitude of people say that, hey, I'm a part of that. I made that better. I did that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the spirit across everything that I do, is that everybody can do something. It doesn't take somebody who just completely altruistic or you got extra time. No, everybody can be involved with the betterment of our community.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the paramount points that you brought up is that when you structure service to community as a part of your lifestyle, you will always have time.
That's right.
You will have time when it is a part of your lifestyle, because you prioritize it. So whether it's your service within your, faith-based piece, whether it's to your nonprofits that exist, whether it's within and here's the challenge that I've been putting out there, Brother Nellums, is that for anyone that calls himself a community leader, here's a question that they're going to have to answer in the next 12 to 24 months. The question they're going to have to answer is, where were you in the midst of the crises?
Wow. Yeah.
They're going to have to answer the question. And so, this question is a point of provocation, to those who are leaders and maybe not active, because everybody's going through. Like, adversity is where you cut your teeth in leadership. It's proven what it is that you are preaching, whether it is sustainable or whether it needs to be tweaked. It needs to go under this level of trial and fire so that you can be recruited better. But let's talk about it, man. With about 10 minutes left, I need you to go ahead. Now, listen, man. Now, here's the challenge, bro. I'm gonna see if you can do it. All right. The topic is overcoming. Off the dome, freestyle. Go ahead.
Hey, no, I can't play. You got me. I can't freestyle. Dog.
No, I'm messing.
No, you got me, man. Hey.
Yeah, I'm messing with you, bro.
Man.
But
I'm too old now, man. The synapses don't fire as quickly as they used to, man. So yeah, it's a rap on freestyle. I might got a hot 16 for you, but
okay, all right. Let's drop it. Let's see what you're working with.
All right, let's see. All right. This is actually a song I would do with my kids when I first started teaching. I actually wrote this for my students, and I would perform it for them, like, first day of school, whatever. So I say, you can be what you want to be. Now just don't be a wannabe. Now let your light so shine so the world can see. And your light will shine most definitely. Now you don't have to be a thug because you're from the streets. Your body is a temple. You don't have to be a freak. Now this goes far deeper than what we all can see. Your life has many more possibilities. Now listen, God knows what your calling can be, but it's up to you to make that calling be. You can live life more abundantly. Inspire the hood like Aquila in the bee. Now up you mighty race like Marcus Garvey. Now just think, greatness from our streets. Now just think, greatness at arm's reach. Just be more than what you see and it's on. I got potential and possibilities. I can do great things, really. Now y'all say it. I got potential and possibilities. I can do great things, really. That's it.
Oh no, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Listen, you got to put me on the track next time. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, indeed, bro. We got more tracks coming. We got more tracks coming, but more tracks to make, man. So yeah, definitely, man.
No, listen, I'm joking. Hey,
bro, let me tell you, man. Listen, this is something I was talking. Matter of fact, this is one of our podcasts, man. Why are there so many hip hop artists involved in education? When we sat down and did a survey, man, there's so many like hip hop artists, well-known hip hop artists that have degrees in education. There's some that are educators and hip hop artists at the same time. Like there's like a whole bunch of them, and so we tried to kind of pick that thing apart. Like, what is the connection between hip hop and folks going into teaching, and so once I finish editing that podcast, man, I definitely put it out, man. But yeah, it's to me, it's very, every other educator I know has some type of background in hip hop. So when you said you want to be on the track, I was like, yo, that's what I know. Like every other educator I know has some type of background in music or in hip hop or something like that. So. I think I lost you a little bit, man.
I think Andre might have locked up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here. Let's give him a sec.
Okay.
Oh, dropped. Hopefully he's going to come back in.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I know what he would normally do, which is, have you already given out all your ways to get in touch with you, find you online, all that kind of stuff? Oh, there he is. I was just trying to cover for you.
Yeah, listen, I don't know, man. It happens towards the end of a lot of the interviews, but man, with about 4 minutes left, why don't you go ahead and drop like all of the websites where they can get in touch with you, where they can connect with you on social media, and then why don't you go ahead and shout out your event again this Saturday?
Okay. If you're interested in donating for Black Leaders Detroit, $1 a week to impact change, you can go to blackleadersdetroit.org. If you want to see some of the work, the 10 years worth of work that the young students in Detroit have been putting out, you can go to lyricistsociety.com. There's a lot of music videos, a lot of music. There's a couple documentaries that they produced. You can follow them on YouTube as well, Lyricist Society. Check out their music and, things that they've created over the years. For In Demand, if you are a Black man out and you're interested in being involved in the lives of young people in Detroit as a mentor, as a volunteer, and as an educator, if you feel like you've been called to be an educator in the city of Detroit, you can go to IamInDemand.com. You can sign up, answer the call. We'll definitely connect you with the information, the resources you need to be involved as mentors and volunteers and educators. This Saturday, we're having a call to action. We're asking Black men to show up at Durfee at 2 p.m. And it'll be an outside event, and we'll connect you right then and there to opportunities to serve young people in our city.
Oh, excellent, brother. Excellent. So, yeah, man, I finished On Board Nations. They know that I always end with this piece, my brother. First of all, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate you dropping the wisdom, sharing your story. I without equivocation, I know that someone was impacted with you sharing your journey toward education, your commitment to, youth involvement and commitment to building community. Listening to your favorite five, your Fab Five. Some research. I wasn't familiar with a few of those, but I gotta check into that. Yep. And then definitely hearing about how you, during the midst of a pandemic, are still out building community and reinvesting. I like the way that you repurposed the word riot, and it was reinvesting in our talent.
Yeah, reinvesting in our talent. Yep.
Absolutely. So I think the greatest interruption or disruption that anyone can do is build something positive. I think that is the greatest disruption that anyone can do amidst something negative, is to build something positive. And so, brother, I commend you on the work that you're doing. And as I always say, man, your future is not behind you. It is not before you. It is within you. And this is the Drawing Board Podcast with Brother Quan Nellums. I was about to say MC. What was your name, man? What was your name, bro?
Quan, man. Quan. That was my name, Quan.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Drawing Board, again, man, thank you for coming on, and we'll see everybody next week. Peace.
Peace.